Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz. Y'all, so it's my daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. My name is Tonia, and today we are discussing the Aries New freaking Moon. If you did not already see the video I did overviewing this and what you need to look out for big picture wise, be sure to check it out. It was just talking about it together. But I am doing today a chart analysis for you. And before we jump into it, do you want to join us live this Sunday for free and just chill in a room and talk with everybody and dissect this chart further and talk about our lives with what's been happening as above, so below? Holy guacamole. Well, then, awesome. All you got to do is email me. I'll send you that Zoom link. It's happening this Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Time. We're just chilling in a Zoom room. It's like a totally cool little one-off kind of like community event that we're doing kind of regularly now. So it's happening this Sunday. If you want to be there, you know what to do. All right. Which also brings me to, if you want to learn astrology with me, I am running a 6-month long program that's going to be 26 weeks of live interactive Zoom sessions together, and it's going to be amazing. If you are a person who's been sitting there on the internet for like years looking at all these different chart analysis, what is the word? And you're like looking at the astrology and you're just like, what does this really mean? And you need to know what it means once and for all, and have a coach to guide you through that process, help you understand the nomenclature, how to read different aspects together and combine different things, how to prioritize what you're seeing in front of you in the astrology chart. That's what the WizdomDropz Astrology School is all about. By the end of it, you're going to be a fly high astrologer, know y'all shit, and be able to interpret charts. And that's for yourself, the benefit of you, everybody around you. Yeah, anyway, I did a video just highlighting my students and them discussing what they thought about the course. So if you want to see their opinions and their experiences, you can watch that. And the link for that is somewhere up hither, up hither. All right, to the chart we go to discuss this Aries moon in more depth. It is truly an exciting new moon. Why? Whoops. Did I share the wrong screen with you, y'all? Resume it. There you go. There we go. There we go. So why is this an exciting new moon happening on February? February, I caramba. April, everybody. Holy guacamole. What is today? April 11th on 411, y'all. It's happening this Sunday on 411, April 11th. And why is this exciting? It's at 22 degrees. We got some master number activation right off the bat because you got the 22 degree signature there, which is a master number related to building and architecture. And then you have the 11th of the date, which is the master builder number of spiritual ascension and just the spiritual path in general, and kind of being dedicated to that. So anyway, we have a lot of really high vibrational energy just in the numerics of it to begin with from that vantage point. But it's in Aries. And as I said in my other video, this is the first new moon of the astrological year, because whenever the sun transits into Aries from Pisces, that's actually the start of the new year. The Gregorian calendar system would like to have you believe it's when, the sun is, well, January 1st. So, where the sun be around that time of year, you know what I'm saying? But over here, we understand it differently from the lens of the ancients. The earth, it resurrects in the spring. Spring is the new year, you understand? So we are still in spring as we are still in Aries season, and everything is catalyzing in nature. If you live in the northern hemisphere and it's spring, everything is activating. The hostas are shooting up. The fern tendrils are starting to form. It's beautiful. The first spring blooms are out. There's pollinators awaking out of hibernation. This is spring. So the Aries new moon is the first moon that we're having this lunar, or this year. And so with that said, the dispositor of this is Mars, because Mars rules Aries, and Mars is currently transiting Gemini. And what's super duper fascinating right off the bat is that Mars, being the ruler of the new moon in Aries, is actually in formation of a V sextile. Do you see this? Mars is sending a nice trine line, this larger blue line, to Jupiter, okay? And Jupiter is also engaged in, like Mars, a sextile conversation with the sun and the moon themselves. So you see here these shorter blue lines coming from the sun and the moon. Those are called sextiles. And this larger blue line is called a trine, right? And if you already know this, that's just absolutely awesome. But if you don't, there's a lot of people who ask. So you know why you're here to learn this astrology. So anyway, what does that really mean though? Like, who cares? So what? Sextile trine. It means harmonious energy, an energy that has a potential application. And if you take a step back and you observe this blue shape, observe the blue shape and understand that this is a bit of an arrow. Yes. So this is a bit of a direction that this energy is being directed toward. It's being projected toward a specific point. Okay. And that point is the moon itself. So this becomes the apex point, and the apex of this V sextile becomes the reason why we might have this lunation, because the lunation itself is at the apex. And so the lunation, meaning the lunar event, that is in this case a new moon, is again in the sign of Aries, which means that this is a new beginning around identity, a spirit, spunk, what we stand for, what we believe in, who we identify as, our je ne sais quoi, your own inner individuality. Oftentimes we get that conflated with Aquarius, and that's fine to a certain extent, because Aquarius absolutely is unique identity, but it is very much so the realm of Aries first and foremost, literally, since it is the first sign of the zodiac, to be original in nature. And there's an affinity between these two signs because there's sextile energy between them, of course, and elemental affinity. But with that said, Aries new moon, it's time for you to define a new you, and it's time for you to get in tune with your inner spark. And Aries is one's inner child. We often hear that conflated with Leo energy, interestingly enough, because Leo energy is also symbolic of children and that which is creative, the creative process. But when we understand astrology, we understand that in fact all fire signs are the signs of creation, because fire as an element is spirit. And so it's inflamed, spirit. It's passionate spirit, and spirit that is passionate creates. Okay. And so Aries, though, being the cardinal modality of the three fire signs, Aries is the get it going, baby. So if you're out here trying to have a new beginning, it's a fantastic fucking time. Go start a new beginning. Whatever you're working on, great. Do it. If it feels aligned and you're passionate about it, follow that shit so far as it'll take you. Why? Because Aries is passion. If you ain't feeling it, cut it out. If you ain't feeling it, what is you doing? You don't need to be doing it. You don't need to be feeling it if you ain't feeling it. You understand? Why? Because Aries is one's passion. Aries is one's desire, and it's one's fulfillment. It really, because the thing about Aries that they appreciate and that they value is the reputation of being them. There's definitely like this association of what they are upholding in the long term in their life as a being, because their 10th house is natally Capricorn, y'all. And that's what you always hear about the 10th house, is everything that is for Aries first and foremost. You understand? Like for Taurus, the 10th house becomes Aquarius, but for Aries, the 10th house is Capricorn. And that's extra Capricorny. It's extra, like Aries wants to build their legacy. So you as a being, regardless of your ascendant, sun, or moon sign, which if you are an Aries, by the way, you is going to be having a lot of energy up around your aura and your field, okay, under this whole damn month. And you already been feeling it. It ain't just beginning this Sunday. Okay. Especially if your degrees are super close to that 22-degree marker or the middle decan of Aries energy in particular, or I should say the mid to late decan, because it's 22 degrees. But anyway, I think that this is a new beginning for all of us to redefine ourselves. This is a new opportunity for all of us to utilize our passions, Mars, and our spirit, Jupiter. You know, we haven't even talked about that. Jupiter is the soul and the spirit. You understand? It's the faith, it's the righteousness aside from the sun itself. These are kind of like this is like a royal almost indicator. Like when you see Mars and Jupiter together, this is like the knight. This is like the king. This is like the person, not I mean, it could be the general, the righteous general, the general who thinks he's doing something or she's doing something out of like righteousness, for the virtue, for the valor, for this like reputation, for this like what are you building in the long term, you know what I'm saying? So that's like the vibe of the time. The vibe of the time is, what is your reputation? Because the 10th house association from Aries, um you know, with the Saturn being here in the 11th house of networks, and the fact that Saturn is also in harmonious conversation with Mercury in Aries. So our thoughts are very much so going to be linked to this new moon. And this new moon is very much so about, in some ways, defining our thoughts, because a new beginning, you know, um, it goes on for the month, for the full lunation cycle. So our new beginning is brainy. Our new beginning is communicative. And not only that, but from derivative houses, or whatever you want to call it, relational house system, Aries, okay, like the third house of Aries is Gemini, which is where again the dispositor or the planetary ruler of Aries is. So there's like, you know, astrology. I heard a really good astrologer, shout out to everybody who knows of Lada Doncheva, and Lada Doncheva is just an absolute badass, okay? But like, I heard her once say that astrology is much more about an analytical, calculation based assessment than it is an intuitive process. And you can definitely, and I do, you know, combine both of those forms of derivative knowledge. However, in the case of being an analytical brick and mortar, kind of like, let's tally this up, you know what I'm saying? We are seeing a thematic indicator that thoughts, communication, agreements, like contracts that we make between people, and how we organize our opinions at the end of the day, okay? Because Jupiter is involved along with Mercury. These are key themes to the coming month of life, and being unique and okay with our uniqueness within those, because Aries is again the unique individual. Before Aquarius even was, there was Aries, the individual, you understand? So there's just so much to talk about with this. It just could go on forever. You know, the worst thing that I haven't even gotten to the fact that Jupiter and Venus are making this just delicious little, just yummy nugget of a sextile. And that's because, you know, those are the two benefics, and it's within a 1 degree orb, for crying out loud. 26 degrees and 25 degrees. You got to be shitting me. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And that's divine benevolent love, you know, that's divine, you know, blessings. And again, this V sextile thing is helping everything develop and mature as it needs to. And also, this is an example of mutual reception. I'm just ping ponging all over with Mercury and Mars, because Mars again rules Aries, as we said 3 times now, I think, but Mercury rules Gemini. So when you go over to like our action, our willpower right now, and like, you know, everything that this planet Mars represents and the dispositor of this lunation, Mercury is, you know, back in the sign that is ruled by Mars. They switch places, in other words. Like normally this planet, you know, it rules this, and this planet rules this. So regardless of where they're transiting at any given moment in time, they still rule those signs. And this is called mutual reception, where they're flipped. And so anyway, that's an example of a harmonious outcome. It's an example of how the different aspects between two different signs, in this case Aries and Gemini, can reflect within each other and work compatibly towards a desired outcome, or towards an ideal outcome. And because Jupiter is engaged in this V sextile with Mars, again, the host planet, if you will, of the Aries new moon itself, it shows that there's a good support system, a cosmic railway are the words that are coming to me, between your desires and your belief. Your desires, Mars, and your belief, Jupiter. Understand? So you are fulfilling your passion around your belief systems in a way that is uniquely you. And Venus is here in Aries not with so much of a positive dignity, so to speak, because Venus is, you know, she's in Aries and she don't like being in Aries. She likes being in Libra, the opposite sign, and Taurus, where she's about to be by the end of this lunation, baby, which is great because Venus in Taurus is going to be like, you know, everything Venus is so-called supposed to be. It's a great energy to have around this time of year. The earth will really be coming to life because, you know, Venus is the goddess of the earthly plane. People don't talk about that all the time, but guess what Venus is? In the ancient world, she's materiality, understand? And right now under this lunation, the materiality planet of what is abundant and beautiful, similar to Saturn, and there's a lot of affinity between Venus and Saturn in the ancient world if you look into that more. But anyway, Venus in this case, you know, she's under the Aries influence. She's giving us an expression of, again, our unique identity and being rewarded. We are being rewarded by Venus's presence because she is with this new moon. She is conjunct this new moon. And while she is not in the best of dignity, as I said, Libra is, you know, ruled by Venus, and that's where Venus prefers to be, between these, you know, this axis, of course. It's okay. She's still bringing gifts because look at the support she's getting. She's getting support from Mars, the passion planet. She's getting support from the host planet. We've said this 6 times maybe now. Mars rules Aries, Aries new moon, y'all. So Mars becomes an indicator for what is going down over the next month. You understand? And so Venus is getting support from that planet. So, like, whatever planet rules the lunation event, the sign that the lunation is hosted in, that's the planet we pay extra attention to. And look at it. It's, you know, it's being supported so much by that Mars, this Venus is. And Venus herself, we could absolutely count, you know, as being engaged in this really positive V sextile configuration, because, you know, 25 degrees to 26, boom, that's 1 degree orb. 23 to 26, that's a 3 degree orb. We count 3 degree orbs or less even in the most conservative forms of astrology. So understand that, you know, this is going to be a really powerful time for the divine feminine. I sense a lot of divine feminine energy coming to the forefront, in terms of what we're healing and being uniquely ourselves, in that definition and that redefinition, that continual redefinition of what it means to be a strong woman. Because again, being in a Mars ruled sign, Venus is in Aries is a badass Venus. If you know any women in your life with Venus and Aries, they're always more masculine, always. And it's not to say they're any less of a woman, but they're just way more masculine. It's just the way it goes. But, and you know, again, the fact that Mars itself is speaking even more directly with Venus increases this likelihood of being more strategic and so-called yang in one's energy. And moreover, the fact that Ceres present right here at 19 degrees of Aries, interestingly enough, right there next to this new moon, is at the same time, you know, right there at the same time. This is showing us that there is a theme with mothering as well, because Ceres is Demeter in the ancient mythology. And so if you look at this through the lens of a more feminine, like, oh my God, tally system, right? Like we were talking about earlier, you have 1 for Ceres, you have 2 for the moon, and you got 3 for Venus. And we're all in a Mars ruled sign. Like, what? Like, huh? And you know, this is a stellium because not only are these 3 planets here, but so is Mercury, you know? And so 3 or more planets, some people say 4 or more planets are significant points, and you got a stellium. We got 4. This is a qualified stellium. And also Chiron is over here at 9 degrees of Aries. And we be feeling that been a thing. It's going to be a thing for a bit more. Trust and believe. We got some time left on that. But still, that lunation, even though it's at the end of Aries, it's in Aries, you understand? And we pay attention to all the whole sign. So, and what's going on in there. So there is a woundedness, an inner woundedness within every individual at this time. And that is unique. That is also being elevated in awareness, because the sun is our divine consciousness and awareness at any given point, and the moon is one subconscious, you understand? So when you put those 2 planets together, we got an awareness opportunity. There's an opportunity to grow something new here from a place of awareness about individuality and how we choose to communicate that. At the end of the day, you know, we have the opportunity to construct some really powerful changes and like positive, you know, supportive kind of outcomes, because Mercury is sextiling Saturn, and you know, we like that. We like that because that shows that there can be like long-term outcomes that are constructive and fair, Aquarius. And Mercury is again that unique individual presence or perspective within that larger social construct, Saturn. So this we're talking uniquely about our opinions on the system. You understand? I'm translating into really rudimentary terms now. So there's that. We're translating as well our beliefs on the system, because Jupiter is beliefs, and still in the same sign as Aquarius. That major, you know, the grand, the big hoopla conjunction, the great conjunction, that happened in like what, December of last year. This is, you know, still playing out. To say, oh yeah, that was like last year, that's so last year, would just be like, no, because it's still in the heavens. Even it hasn't even begun, you know. I mean, it has begun, but I just mean in the fullness of time. It's like, dude, we at the beginning of that shit. That's like 100-year-long cycle, but it's 20 years, you know what I'm saying, until the next. But moving on. I think that the key things you need to really know about this lunation, we talked about them. You know, Mars is the host. It's energy. It's raw passion. It's a new beginning. You're redefining yourself. You're redefining your value and what it means to be feminine, even if you're a male. You're redefining your female masculine balance, your identity as a unique individual in the world, and what you believe about, like, you know, systems. And you're communicating individually as well, and you're understanding yourself through thought as an individual. And all of this, of course, is being echoed and permeating and originating from your communications with others. And the third house, also worth noting, is one's mind and one's, you know, personal beliefs, you know, not so much philosophical beliefs. So understand that you will have a likelihood to be thinking more along those lines. And I think that you'll really kind of sail through this, because the North Node is there at this time in Gemini, and you're meant to communicate more clearly. You're meant to communicate with yourself more clearly, your own thoughts, your own beliefs. Be honest, be raw, be unique, be you. That's what the Aries New Moon is all about. We have all the support in the world from Mars and Jupiter in this beautiful V sextile configuration. Okay, okay. If you want to join us live on Sunday Fun Day, it's happening. It's happening. All you gotta do is email me, WizdomDropz@gmail.com. Link down below in description. Thanks to everybody who subscribes, comments, likes these videos, shares it with a friend. Da 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 da. You literally rock and roll. If you want a reading, same thing. Reach out to me at the Gmail address down below. And with that said, through next time, until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.